Well, good morning, guys. Once again, it is I, the chairman, bringing you another review of physical media. I just want to start off with what I have just recently got in, and it is the Legend set from Arrow. This is on Blu-ray, not 4K, as has been controversially discussed, and we'll explain why it's not in 4K as we go through the set. So, it's your standard, really nicely packaged Arrow set, and the box is the typical hard cardboard. And so inside the case we get a book, we get the Blu-ray case, we get a poster, we get the double-sided poster, which has been typical with Arrow. They have their own commissioned artwork, and then they have the original theatrical poster. I'm sure there were other posters as well, but this is probably the one that was displayed in theaters when the film was released. And so that artwork is then also shown on the cover, because then on the inside we have the reverse. And so in terms of the discs, they have the director's cut on one disc, the US theatrical cut on the other, and they actually have a number of cards. So I guess these are the art cards. And so you have the one of Tim Curry's Lord of Darkness, and you have Mia Sara and Tom Cruise. You have the other characters. Sorry, I don't know Legends, so I don't know their names. But it's all pretty cool looking makeup. Yeah, one of Tom himself. You got an orc looking kind of guy. And then so you got that. And then inside the case itself, you then also have lobby cards. Oh, you have the usual Arrow card in here, advertising the bird with the crystal plumage coming out of 4K. So then you have these cards, and on the back it's all written the same: no good without evil, no love without hate, no innocence without lost time darkness. You got that. So yeah, this set is pretty chock full of stuff in it, and this was $25, so it definitely dropped in price from its initial release. And actually, I'll be discussing pricing as it goes with Arrow, because I think it's kind of instructive in terms of the advice I want to provide on purchasing physical media, because we're all in the game of purchasing physical media, especially this time of the year. So that's what I wanted to go in after I finish discussing this. But anyway, the book has a number of essays, and actually, what's really interesting is that they have an excerpt of an interview with our boy Charlie de Lauzirika, who supervised the restoration of the director's cut for the 2002 DVD. And so it's a bit of an interview with him, and it's actually excerpted from the May-June 2002 issue of Film Score Monthly. So our buddy Charlie gets some love here, and there's the usual notes on the restoration. Now what the deal is with the with why there's no 4K is that it's kind of the problem where the director's cut and the theatrical cut, they kind of don't they don't look the greatest, because they just don't have the actual original camera negative. The theatrical cut was transferred by Universal in 2006 directly from the inner negative. And this is coming from Ridley's notes on it. So Ridley wasn't involved in that U.S. theatrical cut transfer. Um, it's better looking. He says it's better looking. Has more detailed and refined image in the director's cut. Now the director's cut is only was only available in the form of a answer print. So as you know, the answer print is a generation down from the inner negative, which is a generation down from the camera negative. So as such, it's not going to look. It's going to look less less good. I mean, it probably won't look bad, but it just won't look as good, I should say, as the inner negative, which won't look as good as a scan from the camera negative. So, yeah, that's the problem. And is that, and as he says, however, given its one and only source element, the director's cut looks as good as it possibly can. But what he means is that it can only look, that's as good as it can look, and it can't get any better. So, you know, unfortunately, we're kind of stuck with the quality as it is, and there's really no. I mean, I'm sure they could have done it in 4K. It just would look, as James Flower has said on Twitter, it's just going to look even worse than if we had just kept it at a 1080p Blu-ray. So, you know, that's what we have. So yeah, I have not watched this yet. You know, as you can tell, I have quite a backlog of discs, just in terms of what I've been getting in. So what I will tell you is that I had picked up Blue Underground's Two Evil Eyes a while back. Got around to watching the first half, and I will say that thankfully it is more in line with what Blue Underground has put out in terms of 4K, and is definitely better looking than Dead and Buried. The film does have grain, but this is the level of photochemical grain that you expect from a photochemical film that has been scanned and transferred to 4K. In this case, the grain is serving the film in terms of bringing out the clarity and resolution, as opposed to obscuring the clarity and resolution. So it's clear in this case that the scan was either from the original camera negative or a source very close to it. So it definitely looks a lot better than Dead and Buried did. I chalk up Dead and Buried as an aberration for Blue Underground, just because they did not have the best source available. I believe it was sourced from the interpositive, which already didn't look good, I think, even when the film came out. So yeah, Two Evil Eyes so far, first half's pretty good. The first half is the half directed by George Romero, and it was actually pretty good because I liked it that it differed from his normal zombie stuff. It was a little bit of a change of pace for Romero, and it was essentially a short film, almost an hour long. So it moved. It was a nice, tight little story involving a wife whose rich older husband is dying, and so the wife, played by Adrienne Barbeau, is conniving with her husband's doctor. They're having an affair. They want to scam the husband out of his money, but they need to keep him alive. And so the doctor has come up with a way of hypnotizing the husband so that he can so the husband will do anything that the doctor wants him to do, including signing away documents and, you know, talking on the phone and stuff like that. But as is the case with these kind of films, everything turns awry, and madness ensues, and we see what happens when, you know, you try to screw around with that kind of stuff. So so the second half is the one directed by Dario Argento, and it stars Harvey Keitel. And I only just started watching it, but it's about the Black Cat. Sorry, it's called The Black Cat, presumably based on Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat. And Harvey Keitel plays a crime scene photographer, and pretty sure weird stuff happens because of that. Well, you know, you're expecting it. The film's called Two Evil Eyes for a reason. But anyway, I want to get on to what I wanted to what I had mentioned earlier. And so, you know, it's getting into November. we've already had a lot of sales. I've already picked up a lot of stuff. They start early and early this year in terms of the physical media sales, but it's now the time of the year where a lot of bargains can be had, a lot of exceptions can be made, but also a lot of mistakes can be made. You can buy the wrong thing for the wrong price, or you can buy the right thing for the wrong price, or in some cases it may be the other way around. But the whole point is that we're physical media collectors. We want to get stuff. We want to get the versions of the films that we love in the best quality sound and picture, but we don't want to break our bank for it. We don't want to totally empty out our wallet. We don't want to fall into every sale that comes along, buy everything, and then worry about later. I've bought stuff before that I didn't like. I wish I hadn't have bought. Pretty much everything I've bought, I'm glad that I did. Did I spend a little bit too much on some of those things? Yeah, probably. And I would say that there's several pieces of advice. Some of them may be controversial, but I'm going to say it because after having done this for a little bit, I think it's safe to say that some of these pieces of advice are going to work out for you much better in the long run. And the first thing I would say is don't buy anything on pre-order, except for the UK only Arrow and Studio Canal sets. And if for whatever reason you just absolutely want that film right now, or that they have something in the packaging in either the first pressing or the very limited pressing, such as a poster or a slipcase or something like that. And like with the slipcase, you usually get that with like 88 or Eureka. They'll say, first pressing only, first 1,000 copies, you get a limited edition O card or slipcase. And for the most part, I mean, unless you really, really want it, it's like whatever, because it's not adding value to the set. It's not saying, hey, you can spend more money now, and you can get a much better looking sounded picture than if you wait till later. No, it doesn't work that way. So the only incentive is that you're getting more of this stuff that comes with Legend. And I don't know if Legend's going to come out in a standard edition, but I'll get to that later about the standard editions with Arrow. So I would say that for the most part, don't buy anything on pre-order. Now, what you'll notice though is that, like say with Amazon has the pre-orders as well, is that the prices will go down before the item hits the street. Like for example, Halloween, the Halloween films from Shout Factory. But then after they release, then they'll go back up. And the same thing with Deep Red from Arrow, which I'll get to later. So there may be an opportunity to get it for a decent price if you wait until just before the street date, because then there might be a bit of a wait until the price then falls back down to the pre-order levels, or even below that. But that might be a while. That might be a couple months. That might be 3 months. It just depends on your tolerance. So what I would say is, let me qualify the thing about pre-ordering is if you're going to pre-order, don't pre-order from, say, like a Diabolik or the actual company's site, because then the way that the pricing, the payment works is that you might actually end up paying immediately for it. And with the case of Diabolik, even though I love those guys, I mean, I love what Jesse and Diabolik are doing, but the problem is that you pay immediately, and you can't return it for, or cancel it for money. They give you store credit. So I've done it a couple times where I jumped in, like with Deep Red, I jumped in, I pre-ordered it, and then later on I said, why do I need to pre-order at this price? It was like I pre-ordered for $45. It was going to be $53 with shipping and tax. I can turn that in and order 2-3 films, which I did. I ordered 2 films, and then I can get Deep Red later. So that's the thing, is that with if you pre-order on Amazon, and I know some people don't like Amazon, you know, they got this thing about not wanting to give Jeff Bezos money. I mean, it's a couple dollars. I'm sure he's not going to miss it either way. But but they have the pre-order price guarantee, so that the price will always go down and it won't go back up. So at the very least, if you're going to pre-order, wait till the end. Wait till closer to when the street date is occurring. See what the price is, and if it looks good, then jump in, because it's probably a case where once it hits the street, it won't go back down for 2-3 months maybe. Also, then talking about Amazon, Amazon will be your best friend during this time, because they've extended the return window until the end of January for items purchased from, I think, going back to October, early October. So what happens here is that if you buy something at the beginning of October, and then if the price of that same disc goes down, what you can do is you can return the one you bought earlier, and then buy that same one at the lower price. And I was doing that last year like 3 times with the Back to the Future set, just because it kept going down. And so you'll also want to sign up for Honey, which is the drop listing site. And anything you buy on Amazon, you want to drop list it. And then now, because it integrates into the browser, it'll drop list that stuff for you automatically. And so what happens is that if you buy that thing, then it'll tell you later on if that price dropped. But sometimes those prices drop like only for a few hours. So if you see it in your email, you got to jump in real quick. And then also you got to make sure that it's sold by Prime, because they'll give you the price and it'll look great, but it's from a third-party vendor and they have shipping. So in the end, you add that shipping, it's going to be more than what you paid for originally. But as long as it's Prime, then you're going to make out, because you can buy and return as many times as you want until that return window ends. So I did that with I think Beetlejuice, Gremlins. Yeah, I did it with a bunch of films last year, and you end up saving $5, maybe $10 if like you bought the thing at $23, $24, and then it drops to $15 maybe. So yeah, you just have to obviously account for the fact you got to go and return it and stuff like that. But it's really easy to return Amazon stuff, so definitely utilize that. You'll end up saving a bunch. Now getting on to Arrow. So what Arrow's been doing is that they've been putting out their limited edition 4Ks of the Dario Argento films. Now I'll use their films of his as an example, but this should apply to all of their sets. So they've been pricing it at about they've been pricing them at $59.99. So this is Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Cat o' Nine Tails, and now Deep Red's just come out. So the one thing that they've been doing is that they've also now been putting out those 4Ks on a standard edition, and so they're slowly rolling those out. So they've been waiting about 3 months, I think, from when the limited edition came out to putting out the standard edition. The standard edition, it's all the same disc material, it's just that they don't put in like the posters and the art cards and the stuff like that. It's probably in a smaller case. So they've been pricing those standard editions at $49.99, which, when you think about it, is kind of high, because I feel like it should be more like $45 price difference, because you're not putting in any of the other swag. I think the price should be lower than that, but so Bird with Crystal Plumage right now on Amazon is limited edition is $28. All right. They're still keeping the price for the standard edition at the $49.99, and that's coming out November 23rd. Now, Cat o' Nine Tails is limited edition is down to $29.99. Why not $28.79? I don't know. But the standard edition has already dropped to $34.99. So why is Cat o' Nine Tails that low but not Bird? So I mean, I expect the the standard edition for Bird to drop to that onto that price. Remember, this is still on pre-order, so you would think that once it actually releases, that price should drop below the $27.99 that Bird was at, because that's $27.99 for the limited edition. The standard edition has got to be lower than that. I mean, logic dictates that it has to be lower. So, Deep Red on Amazon, I think pre-order was actually down to around 42 or something. Now it's been released. It's now back up to $59.99 because it was released on October 26th. Other sites still have it around $42-ish, but I think I saw it going down to almost 35 at one point. I think that may have been on deep discount, but I checked deep discount, now it's back up to 42. So it's like I said, it just released. It's been less than a week in release. Give it 2 months, and I'm pretty sure it'll then drop down to low 30s, if not 30 or below, somewhere around there. And also the standard edition for Deep Red is coming out, well, at least according to Amazon, is coming out January 11th. For whatever reason, Arrow changed their site now, and it's really hard to see all of their titles now. They, like, for whatever reason, if you go to arrowfilms.com, it now redirects you to arrowvideo.com, the US shopping site. And so what they have there is way limited in compared to their entire catalog, and I'm not sure why they're doing that. So it's really hard to go in there and see all of their films and what everything is that they have coming out. But regardless, if you see the pattern of the pricing here, then it's a pretty good way to tell how it's going to work for pretty much all of their titles. And so you're already seeing the same thing happening with their Hills Have Eyes set, because it's again priced at the $60 level, but now it's already 30 and below. And so now I'm not saying every set is going to have the same pricing pattern, because it's going to be based on demand. I'm assuming that their Argento sets sell better than Hills Have Eyes, sell better than most, and that the Hills Have Eyes, I mean, it has some name recognition, but the fact that the price has dropped a lot more quickly suggests that it hasn't been selling as well. And just like I said, the Legend I got for $25, and it's only been released for maybe a few weeks, I think. So it's already dropped to $25. So again, it's not like the demand was so high that they've been willing to keep the price higher. So I think in this case with a Legend, it probably wasn't selling as well. So they probably dropped the price more quickly. Dune, I think I haven't been really paying attention on the pricing, but I think that's also been selling pretty well. There's also been, I think, a few supply delay issues with Dune. Sorry about that. I think my camera just stopped recording there. But anyway, like I was saying with Dune, I think that you won't see that same kind of pricing necessarily with the Argento sets, but also keep in mind that there is a standard edition coming out for Dune as well. So it'll probably have that same pattern where it will end up being less than the limited edition. So I'm keeping my eye out on all of those sets. I already have Bird with a Crystal Plumage on the Arrow Blu-ray, so I'm not going to get that on 4K. I'll probably get Cat of Nine Tails, and I definitely want to get Deep Red. I'll probably wait till the standard editions come out on those. And with Dune, I mean, I'm not too sure, because I have no attachment to the David Lynch Dune. Obviously, I really like the new one by Denis Villeneuve. So I don't think I really have much to gain from watching the old Dune. I don't have like any nostalgic feeling for wanting to have it. So if it drops a lot, then I'll get it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to get it. So anyway, I've already kind of rambled on really long with this video today, but I hope you learned something, got a little bit of information, a little bit of insight into how you want to prepare and plan for your purchasing over this. Well, it's not even Black Friday yet, but it pretty much feels like it is over this period. And yeah, hope that helps. And I will talk to you guys later. See ya.